We're going to continue with the idea of doing two-step word problems, right? These are the types of problems that you might find where you have to go like 6 plus 8 and then subtract 2 and get to x, right? We're trying to put that together as the variable at the end, the unknown, and represent that as a letter. Here I have to do my first operation, and then I have to do my second operation, often working from left to right. We're going to add in today a little bit of a new wrinkle, and we're going to go in and try to use some multiplication in here as well. So you're going to see all of these problems are going to involve some multiplication. Before we start doing that, I think the first thing we need to think about is these words, not works, words that are going to mean multiplication. Words that are usually going to tell us that there are groups, right, that we're looking for. Okay, so what words do you know that are going to kind of tell us that there are things that come in groups? So you might think to yourself that that you have this idea of packs, right? So there are a certain number of packs of something. You might think to yourself that there are teams, right? Teams are a group, or tables, right? Tables often have multiple people who sit at them, right? You might think about games, right? Games can often involve kind of multiple parts. A game might have two halves, it might have four quarters, that sort of thing. Um, so we might have different things where it's like usually also you're looking for that word each, right? When we see each, often that's telling us about multiplication, in each, that sort of thing here, okay? You might also find this in per, like per day, per game, which really just means that they have this number that is the same in each of the days or each of the games, okay? So when we see those, that's usually going to tell us to multiply. And then we're really going to be looking at the end here and kind of think about the context to figure out, is it asking us to add something to it, or is it asking us to maybe go about taking something away? So let's take a look through this first one, and we're going to continue our process of read it, draw it, solve it. Or read it, draw it, write it, I should say, not just solve it, okay? We really want to make sure that we have this idea about what is our context here? What does it look like? As opposed to just jumping to an equation that we're going to plug in some numbers and try to go through and do something with. Okay. So it says you scored 8 points in each. In each. I'm seeing that here already. In each. Okay. In each. Go back here, highlight that because I think the in each is going to be important here of your first 6 basketball games. You scored 14 points in your 7th game. How many total points did you score? So I think if I were to draw this on here, what I would see is I got 6 games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And I've got 8 in each of those, right? 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, and 8. I'm getting that for my 6 games, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You don't have to number them. Make sure you get the right number. And I've got my 8 in each, 8 are in each, and I literally put them inside of it. Okay. And then my 7th game, I'm gonna make this one blue, make it a different color. But my 7th game is gonna get 14 points. And then that's going to lead me to find my total. And normally I put it up above, but I'm going to put it down below here. This is my total, which I'm going to call P as in points, right? Now, I know I could go about adding all of these, but because it's in each, I know that really there's a more efficient and easier way to do that. And so this is 6 times 8, 6 groups of 8, plus 14. Oh, I've got to give myself a little bit more room over here. So let's maybe do it over on the side. So we got 6 times 8. I got to add 14 to it. I'll put a little plus next to it. Plus 14 is going to equal to P. Now, when I do this, one thing just to keep in mind is that we work from left to right, meaning we're going this direction. We don't ever go from right to left when we're trying to solve. I could have it over here like this, right? This would mean the exact same thing as the one above, but I'm going to work this direction here, and that's going to equal this. So we do it this direction in math, okay? So what I would do is I get 6 groups of 8. I know that 6 groups of 8 would be the first thing I'd solve, and that is 48. I'm going to add 14 to that. So here I've got, if I add 10 to it, I've got 58. And then I got 4 more. The 2 gets me to 60, and then I've got 62. So 62 total points equals P, or that's what P equals. Good. Fantastic. Let's try a second one here and think about how we might try to solve this one. I want you to think about what words you're seeing that are telling you to do certain things. So it says Benny earned $7 for each time he cleaned the house. He did that 5 times. Then he spent $12 on a new book. How much money did he have left? So what words or words are telling you to multiply? Which word or words are telling you to multiply? What are you seeing for that? You probably found in here that it says 7 for each, right? So I know 7 for each and 5 times, right? So I got that 5 times here. What am I going to do with this $12? Am I going to add it, subtract it, multiply it, or divide it? What do you think I'm going to do with this $12 here? Well, I'm going to subtract it. I'm absolutely going to subtract it. Many of you thought to yourself, I need to subtract that. What word or words is telling you to subtract in this? You're probably thinking to yourself, well, spent is something he used and he has left, right? So you've got the idea of he spent something and he's got some money left. So that's telling me that I need to subtract. So when I make this here, I could do it a couple of ways. Again, I could do my 5 times with 7 in each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 7 in each one. Okay. And then here, I'm going to take away 12. I'm going to make this a minus 12. And that gets me my total. My total, which is going to be my money, M. We'll make it M. Okay. What do you think your equation would be for this problem? You're probably looking at then going, well, I could add the 7 each time. So some of you might be thinking to yourself, 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus, or minus 12 equals M. And you'd be right, but there's a more efficient way to do that. And here, what I would find here is that this is really 5 times 7, 5 groups of 7, minus 12 equals M. Now that we have our equation, what does that equal? What is M going to equal? When I put this down here, what is M going to equal? Well, I do 5 times 7, and I count by 5. So I've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. I did that 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I've got 35 here. So I've got 35 minus 12 equals M. So 35, we're going to take away 12 from it. And if I look at that, 5 minus 2 is 3, and 3 minus 1 is 2. So I've got $23. On your work today, make sure that you're being really clear about showing your work, show it with some sort of model. This model here could have been something that looked like this. I could have my total, I could have M, and I could go 5, or go 7, sorry, 7, 7, 7. These are all adding, right? Adding them up, 7 and 7. And if you really wanted to, you could also then go here, go this, and do this as a minus. Make sure it's denoted if you're taking it away, minus 12. If I were adding a 4 to it, if I had earned $4 more, I would just make sure that here, if I had a 4, I would go in here and I just add a 4 like that, and that would be totally fine. That could be a model. You could also use this type of model over here, and then make sure that you go about writing your equation and solving it, trying your best to make sure you write it as a single equation like this, not doing each individual step, not going 5 times 7 equals 35, because these are the steps you're going to do, right? But we want to try to get to a point where we're writing it as a single equation. Okay. Good work today.